coffee?
I should be getting back.
Yeah, of course. To what?
I have marking and planning to do. Fun never stops for teachers.
So I've heard.
So what happens now?
Thank you.
What?
Well, all the way down the stairs I've been trying to work out how I ask that question, and then you just ask it like it's the easiest thing in the world.
It's what we both want to know.
Yeah, but it's so complicated.
But being open about it's the only way we get to decide what happens next.
Yeah.
And I promised myself that I'd leave here with an idea of what the future for us might look like. The immediate bit of it, at least. So if this was a lesson, this would be the point where I'd sum up the content of what we've learnt up until this point.
Okay.
Shall I consolidate what we've learned today?
Why not? If nothing else, it'll be interesting to hear your take on it.
Okay, here goes. 5 years ago, I went on holiday and you had some sort of breakdown due to some distorted view about the nature of success and failure.
Neatly put.
And so your parents whisked you away to London with the misguided belief it was the best course of action for you, and we experienced what I'm going to call the black hole of communication. No contact, no nothing for 5 years.
During which time you sorted yourself out, found yourself a career you love, and became a very successful teacher, whereas I
coped and got better, and at some point you're going to have to start seeing that as an achievement.
Yeah.
So, the way I see it, we have a number of options.
Yeah.
Shall I start to list them?
Why not?
Okay, option number one, we treat today as an island of experience. We've had a chance to air our feelings, fill in some of the gaps, but ultimately nothing changes. We go back to our lives and everything returns to exactly as it was, just with the added sense of security of some of the spaces being filled in.
Not the most fulfilling of endings.
No. Which takes us on to option number two. Your turn.
Mine?
I'm not doing all the work, this one's yours.
Okay. Okay, so option two, we maintain a friendship.
Mm-hmm.
Long distance, of course. We contact each other at Christmas, on birthdays, when we've both got too drunk of an evening to remain aloof. Nothing fundamental changes, but the black hole of communication we've had to deal with up till now is eradicated and replaced with a sporadic intimacy. In a year's time, if we're lucky, we organise another reunion, this time at a venue of my choice. So possibly the National or the Globe. We could go and watch a Shakespeare afterwards. A date which we have every intention of honouring, but in the end somehow doesn't happen. Eventually and inevitably, the silence between us re-establishes itself. Only this time it's even harder to redress. In short, we're permanently and irrevocably undone.
Again, not the stuff of fairy tales.
Not really.
Are either of those what you want?
No, not really.
Oh, good.
So then on we go to option three. Your turn.
But all the safe options are taken.
So take the risk.
Okay, you asked for it. Option number three, you move back here. Away from your well-meaning but ultimately suffocating parents, and you see what options living in Wakefield presents you with. You rent a flat, possibly even here on the waterfront, and you get a part-time job to pay the rent, and you start to build a life here that makes you happy. And you're back in the city that you grew up in, and you have an opportunity to create a future far away from the place that represents recovery for you.
And in this option, you'd be...
Supporting you, being there for you, building a friendship. Possibly more, who knows?
Which neatly leads us on to option 4.
Which is...
Which neatly leads us on to option 4. Which neatly leads us on to option 5. Which neatly leads us on to option 6. Which neatly leads us on to option 7. Which neatly leads us on to option 8. Which neatly leads us on to option 9. Which neatly leads us on to option 10. Which neatly leads us on to option 11. Which neatly leads us on to option 12. Which neatly leads us on to option 13. Which neatly leads us on to option 14. Which neatly leads us on to option 15. Which neatly leads us on to option 16. Which neatly leads us on to option 17. Which neatly leads us on to option 18. Which neatly leads us on to option 19. Which neatly leads us on to option 20. Which neatly leads us on to option 21. Which neatly leads us on to option 22. Which neatly leads us on to option 23. Which neatly leads us on to option You successfully serve out your first year as a newly qualified teacher at Appleton Primary School, emerging with a spotless and exemplary record as a teacher with remarkable promise. As you're doing that, you apply for a teaching post in London. And as a result of your excellent references, you are, of course, successful. And in July, you move down south and embark on the first chapter of a fully independent life in London, away from your well-meaning but ultimately negligent parents, to start a new life in one of the most eminent primary schools in the capital.
Sounds ideal.
Well, yeah.
And in this option, you will be.
Being there for you, building a friendship.
I see what you did there. That's.
It wasn't subtle.
Can you see any of those options happening?
Not really. Maybe option one, but only as a result of our cumulative cowardice and inertia.
So we need an option number 5 then.
Yeah.
Any ideas?
No, but there's something going through your head that you're not saying.
No.
Honestly?
Honestly, no.
Okay. Option 5.
Which would be mine to elaborate on.
Yeah. So whatever it is that you're dying to share, just say it.
It's just. It occurs to me there are bigger questions here than the ones concerning you and me.
I should have known that by reconnecting with you, I'd have to pay a price.
Meaning?
That things would get honest.
I think it's probably needed.
Yeah, it is, and in the spirit of openness and honesty, there's something new that needs to be added into the equation.
Okay.
I know what I want to do with my life.
Really?
Yeah.
This is sudden?
Well, I've had some time to think and a new perspective on things.
Okay. Are you going to share what
Yeah.
this is? Yeah. Well, go on then. What?
Well, the way I see it now, to some extent, thanks to you, is that I'm good at words. You asked me what an MA in literature qualifies me to do.
Mm-hmm.
It qualifies me to use words effectively, intelligently, and eloquently.
Right.
So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to create something in words that makes people react and respond in the way you do when you look at all these objects, sculptures we've seen today. I want people to read them and look at them in the way that you looked at spring. And I want the words I write to evoke the feelings that I had when I looked at mother and child. So that's what I'm going to do. That's my ambition. Jed, I have an ambition. All the experiences I've had to endure, the way I know what it feels like to be truly hopeless. But then somehow managed to pull myself up and carry on. With all that, I've got enough material to write 10 books. But I'm going to start with one and see where it takes me.
That's brilliant.
Really?
Really, it sounds perfect.
I'm going to come up with better titles than she does, though.
Oh, understandably. Yeah.
Thank you
For what?
for being my rock and my inspiration.
Anytime.
You're amazing.
You've said that.
Will I see you again?
I hope so.
I would like you to promise.
I would like to be able to.
Jed, I love you. And not in a blindly adolescent, besotted sort of way, but in a fundamentally and inextricably bound sort of way that I always have. And I'm pretty sure you love me too. This is my number, so hold on to it and use it to ring me soon.
I will.
Promise.
I promise.
So in a minute I'm going to hug you properly instead of the half-hearted excuse for a hug that happened when we said hello. And then, without looking back, I'm going to walk away through those doors, and I'll wait for you to let me know that you're prepared to let me into your life. Because you have by far the most to lose. My promise to you is that I'm prepared to do anything I can to have you back in my life again, apart from compromise my potential. So, if your terms and conditions of achieving a life together agree with my hopes and aspirations for what comes next, all will be well.